Part 14. Dantian has a little field. Author, The Magic Orb Zoo. Chapter 131. Lin Su was stunned for a moment after hearing Len Lingyu's words. Immediately, his breathing became a little rapid, and a fiery look flashed in his eyes. A magical skill that can transcend levels and challenges, a magical skill that even immortals covet. Don't let the temptation be too high. Does anyone in the chaotic sea of stars possess magical powers? Lin Su licked his lips unconsciously and asked. Of course there is. But as far as I know there is only one person. Which person? He is the lord of our Yama palace, the emperor of Yama. It is precisely because of his magical power that the lord of the palace can compete with the two powerful monks of the Xianxia palace and the spiritual beast island in the late Yuanying stage without falling behind. Creating an unparalleled reputation in the Yama palace. Emperor Yama? Lin Su's pupils shrank suddenly. It turned out that Emperor Yama actually possessed magical powers. No wonder he could stand at the top of the chaotic Star Sea monks. Even the two powerful monks in the late nascent soul stage of Xianxia Temple and Spirit Beast Island were afraid of him. This magical power, the power of the art, is evident. He had to fight hard to get this magical power fruit no matter what, let alone two people in the late Dan formation stage, one person and one turtle. Even if there was an old monster in the nascent soul stage, he would still have to give it a try. I want to grab that magical power fruit. Yepinger and the other three seemed not surprised at all that Lin Su would make such a decision. After all, the allure of the magical power fruit was so great that even they were extremely tempted. But the three of them also knew that they had no chance at all. Not to mention that their strength was not as good as Lin Su. It was impossible for them to fight against Lin Su just because Lin Su had saved their lives several times before, let alone that person. One turtle and two existences in the late stage of forming pills are simply not something they can match. But Brother Lin, from what you said, the magical power fruit has been targeted by the late stage pill forming monks of Xianxia Temple and an 8-pole sword-tailed black turtle. If you want to grab the magical power fruit from these two hands, it's not that difficult. The bald man smiled bitterly and shook his head. Len Lingyu and Yepinger's expressions were also a little gloomy. The gap between the Dan formation stage and the foundation establishment stage was really too big, not to mention that they were still in the later stages of the pill formation. Although Lin Su's combat power is strong, but if he can compete with these two, he has basically no chance of winning. Have you forgotten that I still have this thing? Lin Su chuckled and took out the puppet beads and summoned the stone puppet. This guy's combat power is not lower than that of the masters in the later stage of pill formation. Looking at the stone puppet that was more than 1 foot tall, the three bald men's eyes lit up. Yes. How could they forget that Lin Su had such a puppet who was not inferior to the masters in the pill formation stage? Brother Lin, you said that the magical fruit is floating on the lake. It seems that this stone puppet can only fight on the ground, right? The bald man scratched his bald head. So far, they have never seen this stone puppet release any spells. They all collided and fought on the ground. Didn't it sink to the bottom of the lake after entering the gate? Who said this stone puppet can only fight on the ground? Lin Su glanced at the bald man, and a proud smile flashed across his face. This puppet can fly, but it consumes energy much faster than on the ground. Can this thing fly? The bald man's eyes widened. Then why haven't you seen it flying before? Because it's not necessary. Lin Su spread his hands and said, there are air restrictions in the temple of the Star God clan. Even we can't fly. There is no need for it to fly. When we fought Su before, we were on the ground. How could it fly? Chance. That makes sense. The bald man showed regret again. Oh, I got this puppet bead first. Why didn't I think of checking it out? As he spoke, he looked at Lin Su with a very resentful look, which made Lin Su feel chilly and quickly turned his head away from him. When I go to snatch the magical fruit later, You guys should watch secretly from a distance to avoid being accidentally hurt. The battle between masters in the late stage of pill formation is no joke. Don't look at Lin Su and the others who had beaten Su Qianxia away before. That was because Su Qianxia was only in the early stage of pill formation. More importantly, it was Su Qianxia's. The attack was blocked by the stone puppet, and even the aftermath was absorbed by the stone puppet, without affecting a few people. When Lin Su wants to snatch the magical power fruit later, it will be like snatching the food from the tiger's mouth. Neither the late-stage pill-forming monks from the Xiaoxian temple nor the 8th-level monster sword-tailed black turtle will be willing to let him snatch the magical power fruit when the time comes. It must have been a brutal fight. Even though he had the stone puppet in hand, Lin Su still had no idea, let alone the three bald men. Don't worry, we will stay far away. When gods fight, mortals will suffer. I still want to save my life and get more treasures, he. The bald man said so, but deep down in his heart, he was still ready to support Lin Su at any time. Once Lin Su was in any danger, he would definitely rush forward as soon as possible. In such a period of life and death, Lin Su was there in his heart. He is no longer as simple as a cooperative partner. Len Lingyu and Ye Ping'er nodded and said nothing more, but they had the same plan as the bald man. As soon as Lin Su looked at the eyes of the three people, he knew that what he just said was completely in vain. He could only shake his head with a wry smile, and secretly decided that he must see the opportunity before taking action to minimize the danger, so as not to implicate the three people. Casting the invisibility spell, the bald man and Len Lingyu also cast their spells to hide their figures. Ye Ping'er took out a talisman and slapped it on her body. Not only her body shape, but also her breath. They all hid themselves, which made Lin Su and the others marvel. She was worthy of being the eldest lady of Spirit Beast Island. She had many more good things than them. Just wait here. If you get too close, you will be easily discovered. After Lin Su made an explanation, he swung around and shrank to the size of a palm, slipped into the water quietly, and swam quickly towards the direction of the magical power fruit. He was already in a state of invisibility and did not use Long Yuan. Presumably, the man and the turtle wouldn't be discovered. After a while, even the three bald men lost track of Lin Su. The bald man couldn't help but admired in a low voice, I have to say, Brother Lin's monster body is really an advantage. Now I finally know how he is the one who killed old ghost Huang from the Liuguang city branch of Xiaoxian Palace must have sneaked in like this. If you are envious, why don't you just blow yourself up and seize a monster beast? Len Lingyu gave the bald man a white look and said. Bald man. Rolling his eyes speechlessly, the bald man curled his lips and said, Daji, what a joke. He is not a pervert like Lin Su, who was inexplicably reborn before the stage of forming a pill. If he self-destructs his deity, his life will be over. Ye Ping'er on the side listened to the conversation between Len Lingyu and the bald man, and a complicated look flashed in her eyes, but everyone was invisible and no one noticed it. But he said that Lin Su swam to a location 1 mile away from the magical power fruit and stopped. Now that the magical power fruit is not fully mature, it is useless to get too close. On the contrary, it will be easily discovered by the person and the turtle. From the mouth of the three bald men, Lin Su already knew the identity of this late-stage pill-forming monk of the Xiaoxian Palace. This person was Su Xianxia, the deputy master of the Su Pavilion in the Xiaoxian Palace. Although he was only a late-stage pill-forming monk, he was extremely powerful. Strong, especially the low-grade spiritual weapon 5 elements bag was sword formation in his hand. Not a few late-stage pill-forming monks died under it. Lin Su also guessed that Su Xianxia was not simple, but he didn't expect him to be so powerful. But think about it, if he could fight to a tie with a sword-tailed black turtle of the same level, how could he be compared to ordinary late-stage pill-forming monks? Generally speaking, monsters of the same level are stronger than human monks. What's more, the sword-tailed black turtle is still the best among monsters. Its combat power is much stronger than that of ordinary 8th level monsters. Su Zheng, if you dare to compete with it to snatch the magical power fruit and still not fall short, your strength must be very terrifying. Never underestimate your opponent at any time. This is a lesson learned by Lin Su. His goal is to grab the magical power fruit, not to compete with this person. The lake is not deep, only about 10 feet. After thinking about it, Lin Su released the stone puppet and let it slowly move towards the magical power fruit from the bottom of the lake. As a puppet, unless it actively releases its momentum, it will even in the middle of the battle, they won't leak the slightest breath, but they are not afraid of being discovered by the two. Besides, the two probably can't think of anyone who dares to come from the bottom of the lake under their noses, right? After half a day, the stone puppet arrived at the bottom of the lake at the bottom of the magical power fruit, and saw a translucent green stem extending from the bottom of the lake to the lake. It seemed that this should be the stem of the magical power fruit. Originally, Lin Su was a little worried about the release of the magical power fruit. Whether the barrier will extend to the bottom of the lake, it seems that there is a bit of worry now. Perhaps because the magical power fruit is about to mature, the power of the barrier is being withdrawn by it, and the scope has been reduced a lot, and it does not extend to the bottom of the lake. In this way, Su Xianxia and the black turtle were floating in the air, Lin Su was floating on the lake a mile away, and the stone puppet was quietly staying at the bottom of the lake below the magical power fruit, waiting for the fruit to mature. This wait lasted for a month. Fortunately, Lin Su had already passed the Anidia stage, otherwise he might not have been able to survive. Finally, the color of the magical power fruit changed faster and faster, and the light it emitted became brighter and brighter. Then it suddenly shrank, and all the light shrank into it, and the barrier was also sucked into it, turning it into a pale golden color. Translucent. The magical fruit is ripe. Su Zhengqiao and the blade-tailed black turtle, who had been floating quietly in the air, both moved. Su Zhengqiao threw a black knife at the blade-tailed black turtle, which instantly split into hundreds of similar knives. A huge sword formation was formed and rushed towards the sword-tailed black turtle, while he himself rushed towards the magical power fruit. Not to be outdone, the sword-tailed black turtle opened its snake head, and at the same time, and the endless wind blades and blue-red lightning struck at Su Zhengqiao at the same time. The sword-shaped tail danced rapidly, resisting the sword. Array. Chapter 1. There is an exam in the afternoon. Chapter 2 should be around 8 p.m, please vote for me and give me support. Dantian has a little field. Author, The Magic Orb Zoo. Chapter 132. Su Zhengqiao retracted his hand that was grabbing the magical power fruit. He could grab the magical power fruit before the sword-tailed black turtle's attack hit him, but in this case he would definitely be attacked by the sword-tailed black turtle. The attacks launched by the two heads of the blade-tailed black turtle, a turtle and a snake, can be said to come from the same source. The combination of the two is extremely powerful. If you hit it head-on, even if Su Zheng is super powerful, you will not be able to get hurt. Even if you grab it by then, I'm afraid I can't keep the magical power fruit either. A trace of anger flashed across Su Zhengqiao's face, and he formed a seal with his hands and turned into a large cyan shield to block the wind blade wrapped in lightning. After catching dozens of wind blades, the big blue shield shattered. Su Zhengqiao's expression changed slightly. He had been fighting fiercely with the blade-tail black turtle for more than half a month, and he had never seen the opponent's wind blade lightning be so powerful. Look at it. It seems that the sword-tailed black turtle didn't try its best in the previous battle. The blade-tail black turtle, if you really want to compete with me for this magical power fruit, aren't you afraid of provoking endless pursuit from my Xianxia palace? Su Zhengqiao quickly took out another defensive magic weapon, and then blocked the wind blade lightning. At this moment, his sword formation had been completely defeated by the sword tail of the black tortoise. This monster had indeed hidden its strength before. Humph. So what about the Xianxia Palace? If you have the ability, do you still dare to chase into the Demon Sea? If you really dare to come, I, the Black Turtle Clan, will make sure you never come back. The blade-tailed black turtle snorted angrily, with a pair of ghost eyes full of disdain. Grandpa and I will decide on this magical fruit turtle today. If you don't know what's good, don't blame Grandpa for being ruthless. Subordinate. Do you have any hands? Just a few turtle claws, right? I want to see how ruthless you are. Su Zhengqiao was angry. He was the deputy master of Su Pavilion in Su Tian Palace. When had he ever been so despised? No, it should be said that he was despised by the monster. In any case, this man was fighting for his breath, not to mention that the magical power fruit was right in front of him. Even if the sword-tailed black turtle had hidden his strength before, he Su Zhengqiao could not retreat. Void Sky Cauldron Talisman. Without hesitation, Su Zhengqiao sacrificed the Xianxia Cauldron Talisman and turned it into the virtual image of the Xianxia Cauldron to cover his whole body. This magic weapon is also a kind of strength. With the Xianxia Cauldron Talisman to protect himself, as long as the sword-tailed black turtle without the nascent soul stage cultivation, it is absolutely impossible to break through, and he is already in an invincible position above the innate. Relying on the Xianxia Cauldron Talisman to protect him, the blade-tailed black turtle could do nothing to him, so Su Zhengqiao turned around and continued to grab the magical power fruit. Asshole! Stop it, Grandpa Turtle! The blade-tailed black turtle was anxious and rushed directly towards Su Zhengqiao. It had also heard of the power of the Su Tian Cauldron Talisman. With its current attack, it was indeed unable to break through the light curtain hanging down by the virtual shadow of the Su Tian Cauldron, but this doesn't mean that it is willing to let Su Zhengqiao snatch away the magical power fruit like this. Although the sword-tailed black turtle is huge, its speed is not slow at all. In the blink of an eye, it has rushed to Su Zhengqiao's side, and the sword tail has been thrown hard towards Su Zhengqiao. Su Zhengqiao is protected by the Xianxia Cauldron Talisman. The tail of the sword-tailed black turtle can't hurt him, but the Xianxia Cauldron Talisman shield can withstand the sharp sword tail, but it cannot remove the huge impact. Su Zheng the whole person was whipped and flew out. Damn it! Seeing that the magical power fruit was about to be obtained but was withdrawn by the blade-tailed black turtle, Su Zhengqiao couldn't help but get furious. He used the sword formation again to attack the blade-tailed black turtle. He did not dodge the blade-tailed black turtle's attack at all, intending to relying on the super defensive effect of Xianxia Cauldron Talisman. He injured the blade-tailed black turtle and eliminated this opponent. The blade-tailed mysterious turtle also unleashed his true fury, relying on the defense of his black tortoise clan to withstand Su Zhengqiao's attack. He kept looking for opportunities to knock Su Zhengqiao away, and each man and one turtle were getting closer and closer to the magical power fruit. The further away the opportunity has come. Lin Su has been floating on the lake. Even when Su Zheng was about to grab the magical power fruit in his hand, he did not act rashly. He was waiting for this moment. Lin Su burst out of the water in a flash, and Lin Su quietly pounced towards the magical power fruit. With a flash of consciousness, he took it into the spiritual field space, but somehow he became invisible the moment the magical power fruit entered the spiritual field space. The effect disappeared inexplicably, and instead the body shone with a pale golden light, just like the color of a ripe magical power fruit. Not good. Lin Su originally planned to take advantage of the battle between Su Zhengqiao and the black tortoise to quietly collect the magical power fruit, and then sneak away. He never expected that his invisibility spell would be affected after the magical power fruit was stored in the spirit field space. Having been destroyed, he is now simply a shining lantern. Be bold. Evil beast. Lin Su's figure appeared, and Su Zhengqiao and Dao Tail Suanqi, who were fighting fiercely, suddenly stopped and looked at Lin Su with eyes that wanted to eat him alive. Lin Su was now a level 5 in their eyes. The little snakes at the top were fighting to the death here, but they were taken advantage of by Lin Su, a little snake at the top of the 5th level. How could they swallow this? A bolt of lightning suddenly shot out from the mouth of the snake on the back of the sword-tailed black turtle, hitting Lin Su. At the same time, Su Zhenqiao's sword array also stopped attacking the sword-tailed black turtle, and drew out a small knife towards Lin Suji. Came over. In the eyes of Blade-tail Black Turtle and Su Zhenqiao, Lin Su, a little snake who can't even reach the 6th level at the top of the 5th level, is definitely not their enemy. As long as Lin Su is killed, the magical power fruit will still be in their possession. The thing in. Seeing that lightning and flying knives had been shot in front of him, Lin Su was not panicked at all. He was indeed unable to withstand such an attack head-on with his current strength, but who said he had to block it himself? With a swish sound, a huge figure rushed out of the lake and stood in front of Lin Su. It was the stone puppet that had been waiting at the bottom of the lake for a long time. Lightning and flying knives all hit the stone puppet. The lightning suddenly it disappeared, and the flying knife was bounced away. On the other hand, the stone puppet didn't even have a trace. After blocking the attacks of Su Zhenqiao and sword-tailed Black Turtle, the stone puppet grabbed Lin Su and flew towards the gate. There are actually people hiding here. Damn it, let that little snake go to Grandpa Turtle. Puppetry has never appeared in the chaotic sea of stars. Su Zhenqiao and Dao Tail Suangi naturally regarded the stone puppet as a stone monster lying in wait to reap the benefits. Although the stone puppet did not emit any aura, but being able to easily block their attacks is certainly not easy. If they were faced with such an unknown existence, Su Zhenqiao and Dao Tail Suangi would definitely choose to avoid it, but now the magical power fruit has been snatched by Lin Su, and Lin Su has been caught by the stone puppet. Naturally, the two of them would not let the stone puppet leave, and he didn't care about the fierce fight just now. He swung his body and chased after the stone puppet. Although the defense of the stone statue puppet is very strong, its full speed is equivalent to that of a monk in the early stage of pill formation. He was soon overtaken by Su Zhenqiao and the sword-tailed Black Turtle. One person and one turtle stopped the stone statue puppet in tandem. Down. Your Excellency is so clever at concentrating breath. You were able to grab the magical power fruit right under my nose. This little snake must be your spiritual beast, right? The stone puppet easily blocked his own flying knife just now. Su Zhenqiao was also a little worried. He did not take action immediately. He just looked up and down at the stone puppet and Lin Su, who was coiled in the hand of the stone puppet, and sneered. It seems like these two guys thought I was a stone puppet spirit beast. Lin Su was thinking secretly in his heart, and suddenly had an idea. He controlled the stone puppet and spoke in a cold and mechanical voice, so what if it is? So what if it's not? Your Excellency, the magical power fruit is not something you can swallow. If you know the truth, hand it over as soon as possible. No matter how Su Zhenqiao searched, he still couldn't tell the cultivation level of the stone puppet. He could only test the stone puppet with words while quietly transmitting a message to the sword-tailed Black Turtle beside him. Now that the magical power fruit is in the sky, let's cooperate. How about taking care of him first, and then trying to rob him according to his own abilities? The sword-tailed turtle's eyes rolled. It couldn't feel any breath from the stone puppet, but the opponent could easily block its lightning attack. It was definitely not easy. At least Su Zhenqiao couldn't do it without the Xianxia Cauldron talisman to protect him. He didn't dare to take its lightning attack. In the eyes of the blade-tailed Black Turtle, the stone puppet was certainly no weaker than Su Zhenqiao, so Su Zhenqiao's suggestion could be considered. Okay. But you can't hold back. The voice transmission replied, and the sword-tailed Black Turtle's tail was the first to draw towards the stone statue puppet. The target was clearly towards Lin Su, who was coiled around the stone statue puppet's arm. At the same time, Su Zhenqiao also took out the gleaming silver sword struck at the stone puppet, and the target turned out to be where Lin Su was. Damn it! Lin Su originally planned to rely on the stone puppet to delay some time. Who would have thought that this man and a turtle would suddenly launch a sneak attack? Lin Su was so frightened that he quickly used transformation to flash to the head of the stone puppet and narrowly avoided it. These two attacks. Boom. There were two loud noises in succession, and the two attacks hit the stone puppet's right arm almost at the same time. Although it failed to break through the stone puppet's defense, the huge power contained in it sent it flying several feet away and spread. The shock wave made Lin Su, who was coiled around the neck of the stone puppet, feel that his body was about to burst. The master of the late stage of pill formation was so powerful that even the aftermath of the attack was not something he could bear. Open your mouth. The speed of the stone statue puppet was not as fast as that of Su Zhengqiao and Dao Ei Suangi. If Lin Su ran away, the stone statue puppet would definitely not be able to stop this person. Lin Su's eyes fell on the mouth of the stone statue puppet and ordered it to open its mouth and drill. Got in. Lin Su has now shrunk to the size of a palm, just enough to hide in the mouth of the stone puppet. Moreover, this is his puppet, so he does not have to worry about being eaten by the stone puppet. However, in this scene, Su Zhengqiao and Dao Wei saw that it's different in Suangi's eyes. This guy swallowed that little snake, damn it. Isn't that little snake his spiritual beast? Oops, this little snake was eaten by him, didn't he also swallow the magical power fruit? Damn it, spit out the magical power fruit for Grandpa Turtle, or Grandpa Turtle will tear you apart. Chapter 2. I felt dizzy after taking the exam and wanted to sleep when I got home. Sorry for being a little late. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Dantian has a little field. Author, The Magic Orb Zoo. Chapter 133. The magical power fruit was taken away by Lin Su, and Lin Su was now in the form of a monster and had no storage rings or other magic weapons. It was obvious that the magical fruit was taken away by Lin Su's own space. There are indeed some gifted beings among the monster beasts who have their own space that can be used for storage, but when the monster beast dies, all the things stored in it will fall out, instead of just like storage. The ring broke and something like it fell into the cracks in space. Now that the stone puppet actually swallowed Lin Su in one gulp, doesn't that mean that the magical power fruit fell into the mouth of the stone puppet? Su Zhengqiao and Dao Tail Suangi were anxious. If the magical power fruit was digested by the stone statue puppet, then even if they killed the stone statue puppet in the end, the magical power fruit would not come back. Damn it, spit out the magical fruit for me. Spit it out quickly. Grandpa Turtle, I'm going to kill you alive. Lin Su had never seen what it was like when a late-stage pill-forming master really went berserk, but now he knew that Su Zhengqiao and the blade-tail black turtle were attacking the stone puppet like crazy, so fast that Lin Su could only see a piece of it. In the aftermath of the film, countless attacks hit the stone puppet's body continuously. Although they failed to break through the stone puppet's defense, they hit the stone puppet and threw it in the air like a ball. Damn it, what kind of stone is the stone demon made of? Why is it so hard? After fighting for so long, but not even a little bit of stone debris could be knocked off the stone puppet, Su Zhengqiao couldn't help but feel a little anxious. I have never seen a stone demon like this before. His defense power is so abnormal. He is stronger than me, Grandpa Turtle. If I can refine and absorb it, then my defense power, Grandpa Turtle, will definitely be greatly enhanced. The blade-tail black turtle was also extremely surprised, but the look he looked at the stone puppet was full of greed. The black turtle clan was already good at defense. If it could take down the stone puppet and refine it with elixir fire, then it can definitely greatly improve your own strength. In the eyes of the blade-tailed black turtle, the stone statue puppet at this moment is no longer just a possession of magical powers. It has simply become another panacea. The blade-tailed black turtle can't wait to swallow the stone statue puppet right now. The attack of the sword-tailed black turtle's turtle and snake heads became more and more fierce, and a light blue light gradually appeared on the sword's tail, and a sharp aura condensed towards the sword's tail. This stinky turtle is going to get serious. Not only Lin Su, but Su Zhengqiao also felt the sharp energy condensed on the blade of the blade black turtle. The extremely concentrated destructive power made Su Zhengqiao, a master in the late stage of pill formation, unable to bear it. He was frightened for a while, secretly wondering if he could block this move if it hit him. I'm afraid even the Xianxia Cauldron Talisman may not be able to withstand it, right? The upper-level tribe among the monsters is really powerful. Oops, what if the stone puppet can't bear such a strong force? The blue light on the tail of the black turtle's sword has almost condensed into substance. The extremely condensed destructive power made Lin Su's scalp numb. This power has far exceeded the pill formation stage, and the defense of the stone puppet, he didn't know how strong the force was, and he wasn't sure whether he could block an attack of this magnitude. If it can't be blocked, it will be terrible. Once the stone puppet is smashed and Lin Su is exposed, with Lin Su's fragile body now, he may not even be able to take a blow from this man and a turtle. No, you have to run away quickly, you can't get entangled any longer. With his life at stake, Lin Su didn't care about the energy loss of the stone statue puppet, so he let the stone statue explode with all his strength, turned around and fled against the attacks of Su Zhengqiao and the blade-tailed black turtle. Want to escape? Can you escape? Let Grandpa Turtle die. A low roar came out of the sword-tailed black turtle's mouth, but he saw the sword tail slashing hard at the head of the stone puppet with a dazzling blue light. No, get out of here. The tail of the knife struck down very fast, and Lin Su only had time to turn the stone statue sideways. Although he moved his head, he could not completely avoid it. The tail of the knife with blue light struck the stone statue hard. Above the puppet's left shoulder. Crack. A slight sound sounded, but it almost made Lin Su suffocate. The sword-tailed black turtle struck the stone puppet's left shoulder. The blue light from the sword's tail disappeared and was bounced back, but a crack appeared on the left shoulder where it was hit. The stone golem is injured. Until now, no matter how fierce the attacks of Su Zhengqiao and the black tortoise were, they were unable to cause any damage to the stone statue puppet. But now, under the tail slash of the black tortoise with blue light, the stone statue puppet was injured. There is a crack in the left shoulder. Although compared to the huge body of the stone statue puppet, the cracks are extremely small, but what if the sword-tailed black turtle hits it a few more times? Will the stone puppet be chopped into pieces? This smelly turtle has such a strong attack, and this stone demon has such a strong defense. Su Zhengqiao could clearly feel the destructive power of the sword-tailed black turtle's attack. If it hit him, the light curtain hanging down by Xianxia Cauldron's virtual image might not be able to block it. And there is this stone demon with such a strong attack. Unexpectedly, he failed to cut off his left shoulder, and only cut out a 1-foot-long crack. This defensive power was actually stronger than the Xianxia Cauldron Talisman. Damn it, are the monsters really that perverted? Is this sword-tailed black turtle like this? How can a random stone monster be so strong? Su Zhengqiao cursed in his heart. The individual strength of this monster is much stronger than that of human cultivators. Originally, his strength was already outstanding among the cultivators in the late Jindan period, but compared with this knife-tailed black turtle, it was really not enough. If the knife-tailed black turtle had used all its strength at the beginning of the fight, I am afraid Su Zhengqiao would have been defeated long ago. What, it only cut a crack? Su Zhengqiao and Lin Su were shocked. The knife-tailed black turtle was no less surprised than the two of them. Its pupils shrank sharply. The attack just now was the strongest attack it could launch. It didn't even cut the body of the stone statue puppet, but only made a crack. How strong is the defense of this stone statue puppet? I am afraid it is no worse than that of ordinary Yuanying period monsters, right? Brother Turtle, come a few more times and cut this stone monster open. The magical fruit must not have been digested by him. After being shocked, Su Zhenqiao's eyes were filled with heat and he urged. The magical fruit is not an ordinary thing. It is said that strange phenomena will appear when it is digested and absorbed. The stone statue puppet does not seem to have changed now, so it must not have started to absorb the magical fruit. As long as the stone statue puppet is split open and killed now, the magical fruit will definitely fall out. Come on. Do you think that attack can be launched casually? If you have the guts, try it. The knife-tailed black turtle cursed unhappily. Just now, that was its ultimate move, Blade Wind Slash, which was to extremely compress the wind's spiritual power onto the blade tail to form an indestructible destructive force. With its current strength, it can only launch such an attack 3 times at most. After 3 hits, the demon essence of the knife-tailed black turtle will be exhausted and fall into a weak state. In this case, falling into a weak state is purely seeking death. Even if the stone statue puppet can be killed, there is still a covetous Su Zhenqiao next to it. Being insulted by a turtle, Su Zhenqiao was so angry that his face turned pale. However, after seeing the abnormal attack of the knife-tailed black turtle just now, he was quite afraid in his heart, but he did not dare to lose his temper. What's more, the most important thing now is to deal with the stone statue puppet and take back the magical fruit. Brother Turtle, the stone monster has been injured by you. If we attack the injured part, it will definitely aggravate its injury. Taking a deep breath, Su Zhenqiao controlled the knife formation and the sword in his hand to chop at the crack on the left shoulder of the stone statue puppet, and the attack of the knife-tailed black turtle also fell here. Not good, the energy value of the stone statue puppet is decreasing faster. The attacks of Su Zhenqiao and the knife-tailed black turtle fell on the crack on the left shoulder of the stone statue puppet. Although the crack did not expand, the surging destructive force drilled into the body of the stone statue puppet along the crack, and the energy value consumption of the stone statue puppet suddenly increased by more than 3 times. If this continues, within an incense stick of time, the stone statue puppet will run out of energy and become a pile of waste stone. Although Lin Su is now in the mouth of the stone puppet, he has no way to take out the spirit stone to replenish its energy value, because when the stone puppet replenishes its energy value, its whole body defense will drop to the lowest point. If Lin Su really does this, he is definitely looking for death. What should I do? What should I do? Am I going to die here today? Lin Su was so anxious that he kept turning around in the mouth of the stone puppet. If the stone puppet's energy is exhausted, Su Zhenqiao and Dao Yi Suangi only need to pry open the mouth of the stone puppet to catch him out. Facing these 2 furious Jindan stage beings, he has no power to fight back and can't even run away. An incense stick of time passed quickly. The energy value of the stone puppet was less than half, and it was about to be exhausted. Lin Su's eyes showed despair. Suddenly, a red stream of light flew from a distance and fell between the stone puppet, Su Zhenqiao, and Dao Yi Suangi, and exploded. A powerful explosion directly blew the 3 of them in 3 directions. Brother Lin, come here quickly, the transmission channel to the 2nd floor has appeared. Yeping flew here at some point, and the red light just now was the one-time magic weapon thunderbolt she threw. The stone statue puppet's body was stabilized, but the little energy left was completely exhausted. Lin Su had to get out of the stone statue puppet's mouth, put it into the puppet bead, turned around and activated shapeshift to rush towards Yeping. Brother Lin, hurry. That's the transmission channel, rush in quickly, rush in and you'll be safe. Lin Su looked in the direction of Yeping's finger, and saw a transmission light gate appear on the lake several miles away. The bald man and Len Lingyu were already standing next to the light gate. Putting his body on Yeping's shoulder, Lin Su used all his strength to activate the power of Dragon Yuan, activated shapeshift and rushed towards the light gate. Asshole. Stop right there, you little beast. Chapter 1. Dantian has a little field. Author, The Magic Orb Zoo. Chapter 134. It was obviously impossible for a lava dog to enter such a narrow passage. The fire lotus in the Earth's core was stolen. The beast went crazy and kept slamming into the passage. A column of fire was completely composed of flames. Big hands also appeared from his body, slapping hard at the mountain wall, and even sucked hard at the lava lake, sucking a piece of magma into his mouth, and then suddenly sprayed it into the cave. The passage continued to collapse under the strong impact of the lava dogs. Lin Su tried his best to run through the passage, and from time to time he used transformation to avoid the stones falling from his head. Fortunately, he had already let Yeping went out first, otherwise they wouldn't even be able to escape if Yeping was there. Running all the way, fortunately, the passage was not too long. Lin Su rushed to the entrance of the cave without any danger, only to see Yeping looking anxiously into the cave, as if she wanted to rush into the cave. Look like him. Brother Lin, are you okay? As soon as she saw Lin Su emerging from the cave in his true form, Yeping suddenly showed a look of surprise on her face and asked anxiously. Lin Su was about to answer when he suddenly felt an extremely hot energy coming from the cave behind him. His face changed drastically and his body suddenly returned to the thickness of a bucket. He wrapped his tail around Yeping and put her on his back, heading towards the canyon without stopping. He rushed out and shouted, "Ping-er, hold on tight." At this moment, Yeping also sensed the terrifying heat energy coming from behind. She bent down on Lin Su and hugged her tightly. She felt the scenery around her flying backwards, and couldn't help but thought to herself, no wonder brother Lin wants me come out first, it turns out that he can run so fast in his real body. However, most snake monsters are cold, but brother Lin is warm and slippery, and is quite comfortable to hold. Lin Su didn't know that Yeping who was lying on his back, was still caring about his body temperature at this time. He didn't have the heart to feel the girl's exquisite body. At this moment, the destructive power behind him was becoming more and more volatile. He was so strong that he could only push his speed to the extreme while constantly using transformation to rush towards the outside of the canyon. Boom! A huge pillar of fire mixed with endless magma spurted out from the mouth of the cave. The speed was more than twice as high as that of Lin Su, and it was about to drown the two of them. Lin Su was so horrified that he sped up a few minutes out of thin air. He saw from a distance that there seemed to be a sunken shallow cave on the wall in the distance. Without any time to think about it, he jumped in and blocked the entrance of the cave with his body, protecting Yeping tightly. Ah! The pillar of fire spurted past, and Lin Su felt as if the body coiled outside was being melted. There was a burst of heartbreaking pain, and he couldn't help but scream. The pillar of fire came and went quickly, but it disappeared in just a breath. Lin Su also lay softly on the ground. The entire snake body blocking the entrance of the cave was almost melted, revealing the charred internal organs and flesh. Jade-like bones. Brother Lin, are you okay? Don't scare me. Wake up. Yeping who came back to her senses, looked at Lin Su's miserable appearance and felt her heart suddenly hurt like a knife. She held Lin Su's head and shook it while sobbing. Stop shaking me now. If you shake me again, I'll be shaken to death. Lin Su opened his eyes weakly and showed Yeping a smile that was uglier than crying. The pillar of fire was really terrifying. The ferocious beast lava dog in the middle stage of nascent soul was really not something he could compete with now. Fortunately, his physical body is strong enough, and it is far enough away from the eruption, otherwise he might not be as simple as having half his body burned. How long has it been and you are still in the mood to joke? Seeing Lin Su grinning, Yeping couldn't stop the tears in her eyes. Ping don't cry. This is just a skin injury. It will heal soon. Really, look. As Lin Su finished speaking, his body suddenly emitted a burst of green light, and his burnt blackened internal organs and muscles fell off piece by piece, and at the same time grew back at a speed visible to the naked eye, within a few breaths. Within a few seconds, the burned body had completely recovered. If it weren't for the charred flesh that had fallen off the ground, it would have been impossible to tell that he had been so seriously injured just now. With a flash of white light, Lin Su transformed into a human form again, but this time he quickly took out a set of clothes and put them on, and did not expose himself in front of Ye Ping'er again. How could this happen? How could it be possible? Ye Ping'er circled around Lin Su, with a look of disbelief in her eyes, and kept mumbling in her mouth. Lin Su's face couldn't help but darken, and he said angrily, "Ping'er, what are you talking about? Do you need me to die to feel normal?" Bah! Only then did Ye Ping'er feel that something was wrong with her performance. She spat and waved her hands. How is that possible? Of course Ping'er hopes that Brother Lin will be fine, but Brother Lin, your recovery ability is too abnormal. You are so seriously injured. It'll be fine in the blink of an eye. Does the spirit-eyed snow python have a hidden super recovery ability in addition to the talent of breaking the silver eyes? Rightward arrow. Girl, Brother Lin, I am not an ordinary snow python with spiritual eyes. As long as I am not shattered to pieces, I can recover from multiple injuries. As for the reason, it is very complicated and I can't explain it in a sentence or two. Lin Su smiled slightly proudly, while Ye Ping'er looked amazed. Doesn't that mean that Brother Lin, you are equivalent to immortality? That's amazing. The little girl looked at Lin Su with admiration, and a thought suddenly rose from her heart. I am a demon spirit, and Brother Lin is a demon beast. We are a match made in heaven. Brother Lin has saved me many times, which is the best proof. I must get Brother Lin. In Ye Ping'er's opinion, the relationship between Lin Su and Len Lingyu is not simple, at least there is a considerable degree of ambiguity, and Lin Su has personally admitted that he has two women in his heart. Ye Ping'er thinks that one of them should be Len Lingyu. Brother Lin is mine, no one can take him away, not even Sister Yu. Lin Su didn't know that his boasting and several times of life and death protection actually made Ye Ping'er want to love and snatch him. If she knew, she would probably have a headache. Len Lingyu alone was already too much for him, and he didn't know how to explain it to Zizuir when he saw her. If Ye Ping'er was added, the three women would be a drama, and he would really become the clown in this drama. Ping'er, it's not safe here. Let's leave quickly. Originally, I was worried that the lava dog would spray fire again, but after more than 10 breaths, there was no fire. It was estimated that in the eyes of the lava dog, the two of them had already turned into ashes in the fire just now. This is the sphere of influence of the lava dog. No one dared to guarantee whether the lava dog would chase them out. Lin Su didn't care about the strength of the mid-stage Yuanying beast. In order to save time, Lin Su stretched out his hand to hold Ye Ping'er's slender waist, and continued to rush out of the canyon with his feet. Originally, I thought that holding Ye Ping'er's slender waist like this would cause Ye Ping'er to protest. Lin Su had already prepared his words. Who knew that this girl, except for a little blush on her face, did not object at all, and even hugged Lin Su's tiger waist and rested her head on his shoulder, which made Lin Su a little dumbfounded. This girl, could it be that she has a crush on me? Suppressing the speculation in his heart, Lin Su kept running along the road. Now the road under his feet had clearly formed a slope. It seemed that he could get out of the canyon as long as he ran along it. After an incense stick of time, the road had reached the end, but at this time it was less than 10 feet away from the flat ground above. Lin Su pushed hard with his feet, jumped up, and jumped out of the canyon directly. Roar! A shocking roar came from behind the canyon, which made Lin Su, who had just breathed a sigh of relief, look down again. He turned around and drilled into the side. Not long after their figures disappeared in the woods, the ground broke apart along the canyon, a volcano rumbled up, and a large amount of magma gushed out of the crater. A huge figure with flaming body stepped on the magma and drilled out of the crater. He looked up to the sky and roared angrily. The terrifying pressure instantly swept the area within a radius of 10 miles. All creatures with a little wisdom were lying on the ground and trembling. What a scary guy, luckily we ran fast. 10 miles away, Lin Su emerged from the woods, looking at the sky in the distance that was completely dyed red and the terrifying murderous aura. He couldn't help but shiver, secretly thanking his luck. Luckily, Lin Su had a spiritual field space, and after taking the Earth Core Fire Lotus into it, the aura would not leak out, otherwise even if it was 10 miles away, it would probably be difficult to escape the perception of the lava dog. It's still not safe here, let's go further and find a secluded place to absorb the medicinal properties of the Earth Core Fire Lotus. Lin Su put Ye Ping'er down. He was busy escaping and had to do it. Now that he was temporarily out of danger, there was no reason to hold her anymore. The temptation of the demon spirit body to the demon beast body was really beyond Lin Su's imagination. If he continued to hold her, even if Ye Ping'er didn't say anything, Lin Su himself would not be able to bear it. Brother Lin, have you taken the Earth Core Fire Lotus? After hearing Lin Su's words, Ye Ping'er was stunned, and then asked in surprise. After all, the Earth Core Fire Lotus is in the lava lake. If it were Ye Ping'er herself, there would be absolutely no way to get it in such a short time. Of course, otherwise why do you think that beast rushed out of the surface and went crazy? Lin Su smiled, but we can't take it out now. We are not far enough away from that guy. If it senses the breath of the Earth Core Fire Lotus and chases after us, it will be troublesome. After saying that, he turned and walked away. There was a lot of water spirit there, and there should be a waterfall. Water and fire are mutually exclusive, and the lava dog should not chase us. Chapter 2. Dantian has a little field. Author, The Magic Orb Zoo. Chapter 135. With just a slight tremor of the body, the remaining lightning was completely dispersed, and the numbness disappeared. The traces of lightning essence flowed into Lin Su's golden elixir along the meridians, stabilizing Lin Su's cultivation. The heavenly tribulation is a test for those who are facing the tribulation. If you can't survive it, you will naturally die without a trace. If you can survive it, it can help those who are facing the tribulation to condense their true essence, temper their bodies, consolidate their foundations, and thus improve their potential. Therefore, the greater the power of the heavenly tribulation, the more benefits you will get after successfully surviving it. However, the heavenly tribulation that fell on Lin Su at this moment seemed to be quite inconsistent with the legend. It looked mighty, but it was like drizzle when it really hit him. The first tribulation thunder was like this, and the second, third, and even the 35th thunder was still like this. Although the power was strengthened, it was still like a tickle to Lin Su, causing him a little injury at most. Under the terrifying recovery power of the immortal Lotus Heart Seal, he recovered as usual before the next thunder fell. The Jindan Thunder Tribulation is also known as the 49 Heavenly Tribulation. There will be a total of 4,936 thunders of tribulation, and the last thunder of tribulation is the sum of the power of the previous 35 thunders, which is extremely terrifying. However, according to the current situation, even if the power of the previous 35 thunders is superimposed, it can only hurt Lin Su's skin and flesh, not even seriously. Under the recovery ability of the immortal Lotus Heart Seal, there is no threat at all. This was originally a good thing. Lin Su could easily survive the heavenly tribulation, but in this way, the help of this heavenly tribulation to Lin Su is extremely limited. Originally, with Lin Su's accumulation and successive adventures, he might even be able to rush to the middle stage of the Jindan in one fell swoop, but now this level of 49 heavenly tribulation can at most allow him to consolidate his current cultivation and stabilize in the early stage of the Jindan. It is simply a foolish dream to want to reach the middle stage of the Jindan. Lin Su is not afraid of the heavenly tribulation. He practices the Xianxia 5 elements thunder art, which makes him extremely resistant to thunder tribulation. In addition, with the immortal body of the immortal lotus heart seal, he can recover from any serious injury as long as he is not smashed to pieces. Lin Su is worried that the power of the heavenly tribulation is not strong enough. Just like now, compared with the normal 49 heavenly tribulation, the one Lin Su is facing now is more than half weaker. It is just like a gorgeous beauty standing naked in front of you, tempting you to make your blood boil and suddenly telling you that her period is coming when you are about to pick up your gun and mount your horse. Sorry, who can be willing? At least Lin Su is very unwilling now. This is an opportunity to greatly improve his strength. How can he just let it go so hastily? The reason why the power of the heavenly tribulation is so weak is probably because the laws of heaven in the secret realm of gods and demons are incomplete. This is definitely a good thing for others, who can survive the terrifying heavenly tribulation, but this is extremely unpleasant for Lin Xiao. No, this rare opportunity must not be let go. Fortune and wealth are sought in danger. The brave will die of gluttony, and the timid will die of starvation. Let's fight. Lin Su looked up at the dark tribulation cloud. The last tribulation thunder was about to fall. Once it fell, the 49th day tribulation would be over. Gritting his teeth, Lin Su swung his body and soared into the tribulation cloud. Husband. Originally, Lin Su was about to survive the 49th day tribulation. Ye Ping'er had already smiled, but Lin Su's actions at this moment made her pale. The 49th day tribulation is indeed 36 tribulation thunders, but that is for people who survive the tribulation normally. It is completely different for Lin Su to rush directly into the tribulation cloud. The reason why the heavenly tribulation occurs is because the cultivator or the demon beast breaks through the limit of life and breaks through to a higher level, which causes the induction of the heavenly way. The heavenly way has its own majesty, so it sends down the heavenly tribulation as a test. Lin Su's current behavior is a complete challenge to the heavenly way. The heavenly way will naturally not be polite to those who dare to rush into the tribulation cloud and go against the heavenly way. It will certainly do its best to kill them. I am afraid that the tribulation thunder will not stop until the energy of the tribulation cloud is completely exhausted. Ye Ping'er didn't know that the power of the heavenly tribulation was not as terrible as it seemed on the surface. In her opinion, although Lin Su was powerful, the power of heaven and earth was not something that human power could contend with. Lin Su was simply playing with his own life by doing this. Ye Ping'er was anxious in her heart, but she had no way to do it. Not to mention that she had just lost her virginity and the pain in her lower body had not recovered yet. Even if she was full of energy now, she could only worry about Lin Su who had already rushed into the tribulation cloud. Now she could only hope that Lin Su could create a miracle. Lin Su rushed into the calamity cloud, as if he was in an endless hell, surrounded by dark clouds, endless electric snakes ravaging his body, and thunder rumbling and deafening. For the intruder Lin Su, the heavenly Dao was extremely furious. As soon as Lin Su entered the calamity cloud, countless lightning snakes slashed at him. Ha ha ha. Good, that's it. More, I want more. Lin Su laughed wildly and operated the Xiantian Hualongju with all his strength, absorbing all the lightning that struck his body into his body, turning it into dragon essence and sending it into the golden elixir. Although the powerful destructive force in the lightning continued to damage Lin Su's body during this process, under the immortal body of the immortal lotus heart seal, this little damage was quickly recovered and did not pose a great threat to him. Of course, this is also because the heavenly Dao law is incomplete and the power of the tribulation cloud has been reduced by half. Otherwise, no matter how powerful the immortal body of the immortal lotus heart seal is, unless it truly reaches the state of immortality, once the body is completely chopped into pieces, it will be too late for Lin Su to recover. Of course, he calculated this point accurately, so he made such a crazy move to rush into the tribulation cloud. Although wealth and honor are sought in danger, Lin Su still cares about his own life. Ang! A fierce dragon roar sounded. Seeing that ordinary tribulation thunder could not do anything to Lin Su, the heavenly Dao was furious and actually gathered all the endless thunder and lightning power in the entire tribulation cloud together. 1,000-foot-long thunder and lightning dragon stared at Lin Su coldly. The cold killing aura made Lin Su feel like a dead soul. Oops, we've gone too far. The entire calamity cloud had dissipated, leaving only the 1,000-foot-sized lightning dragon and Lin Su's less than 100-foot-long dragon body in the sky. The power of the heavenly calamity was indeed reduced by half due to the lack of the laws of heaven, but the lightning dragon formed by the power of the entire calamity cloud was extremely powerful. Even though Lin Su had now broken through to the Jindan stage and had the immortal Lotus Heart Seal to protect him, he didn't dare to say that he could take it safely. The calamity cloud turned into a lightning dragon. My husband is in danger. Ye Ping'er's face was pale at this moment. The terrifying pressure of the lightning dragon was several times stronger than the power of heaven and earth emitted by the calamity cloud before. Even after dozens of miles, Ye Ping'er still felt trembling in the soul. What kind of pressure did Lin Su, who was facing the lightning dragon and was targeted by it, face? Lin Su was in deep pain at the moment. He originally just wanted to absorb more power from the thunder tribulation to improve his strength, but he didn't expect that this half-baked heavenly tribulation would mutate and create such a thunder dragon. Lin Su felt that it was no less powerful than the lava dog in the middle stage of the nascent soul. How could he fight it? Lin Su had thought about escaping, but he was now firmly locked by the aura of the thunder dragon. If he retreated a little, he would inevitably be hit by a shocking blow, and he would be dead. Ang! There was another earth-shaking dragon roar. The thunder dragon looked at Lin Su with a cold look of disdain, which made Lin Su angry. Damn it, you are just an energy body condensed from an incomplete heavenly tribulation. Do you really think you are a dragon that can destroy the world? Small 5 elements sword formation, kill it. Lin Su, who had been passively waiting for the attack to absorb the power of the robbery thunder, had a cold light flash in his eyes. 5 5-element spirit swords flew out from the spirit field space, forming a small 5-element sword formation to strangle the lightning dragon. Lin Su could see that the lightning dragon was now accumulating strength and preparing to launch the strongest attack. He must not let it succeed, otherwise he might really lose his life. Lin Su has now reached the early stage of Jindan, and the power of the small 5-element sword formation has also risen to a higher level. Under its control, it continuously strangled the lightning dragon's body with lightning, tearing it into pieces. The lightning dragon roared continuously, and countless lightnings continuously bombarded the sword formation, but it did not hurt the sword formation at all, and even failed to break up its formation. Instead, the sword formation swallowed a lot of lightning. The 5-element spirit bamboo that formed the small 5-element sword formation was Lin Su's life treasure. Lin Su could clearly feel that as the lightning was swallowed, the level of the 5-element spirit sword seemed to have a feeling of breaking through. What is the breakthrough of the top-grade top treasure? That is the spirit weapon. Spirit weapons are extremely rare. Even a cultivator in the nascent soul stage may not be able to own them, let alone a set of spirit weapons that can form a sword formation. The value is simply inestimable. Lin Su's eyes flashed with greed. According to the current situation, the lightning dragon formed by the heavenly tribulation can't do anything to his small 5-element sword formation. It is being eaten away by the sword formation. If it can absorb enough lightning, the 5-element spirit sword will definitely break through the current level and become a low-grade spirit weapon. At that time, the power may be multiplied several times, and it may become his most powerful killer. As the small 5-element sword formation continued to strangle it, the thunder dragon gradually shrank a little. Its original 1,000-foot-long body was now only 800 feet long, and its aura was much lower than before. Ang! The Thunder Dragon seemed to realize that its attack was ineffective against the 5-element spirit swords that made up the small 5-element sword formation. After a dragon roar, it turned its gaze back to Lin Su. The huge dragon mouth opened, and a powerful beam of light filled with destructive power blasted towards Lin Su. Chapter 1. The next chapter should be around 11 o'clock. I'm quite busy recently, please forgive me. You are listening to novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Dantian has a little field. Author, The Magic Orb Zoo. Chapter 136. The beam of light, which was much thicker than Lin Su's dragon body, came with overwhelming power. Lin Su deliberately activated transformation to dodge, but his chi machine had already been locked by the Thunder and Lightning Dragon. No matter what, if he dodges, this attack will hit him, so there is no way to avoid it. If you can't hide, then stop hiding and fight. Lin Su didn't expect that the Thunder and Lightning Dragon transformed from the catastrophe would be so treacherous. Seeing that there was nothing he could do about it, the small 5-element sword formation simply ignored him and attacked him directly. Moreover, it was a chi-locked attack, even with transformation even the shadows cannot be avoided. There was a surge of anger in Lin Su's face, and a trace of ferocity flashed across Lin Su's face. The small 5-element sword formation appeared in front of him, and all the power of Dragon Yuan in his body was poured into it. He wanted to use the small 5-element sword formation to destroy the Thunder and Lightning Dragon's power. Block the attack. Boom. The beam of light shining with thunder struck heavily on the small 5-element sword formation, and a force like the weight of Mount Tai came from the small 5-element sword formation. Lin Su felt his whole body shake suddenly, and he opened his mouth and spurted out a mouthful of hot blood. Wu Wu's body was blasted to the ground and fell to the ground with a crash, sending up smoke and dust all over the sky. Husband. Ye Ping let out a panicked scream, no longer caring about the pain in her lower body, covered her body with clothes, spread out her body and ran towards the place where Lin Su fell. Ahem. Such a strong force, it almost shattered me. After the smoke and dust cleared, Lin Su's slightly embarrassed figure was revealed at the bottom of the pit with a radius of several miles. But at this time, he had returned to his human form and was hiding behind the stone puppet. The small 5-element sword composed of 5 elements spirit sword, the array floated quietly between him and the stone puppet, with 5 colored halos flowing, and powerful auras faintly emanating from it. Low-grade spiritual weapon. That kind of aura, that kind of breath, can only be possessed by spiritual weapons. The 5-element spiritual swords that make up the small 5-element sword formation finally absorbed enough energy in the shocking blow just now and successfully broke through the level of the treasure. Got a low-grade spiritual weapon. Although Lin Su's body was covered in blood at this moment, and there were cracked wounds everywhere, they were all superficial wounds and were not serious. Moreover, as the power of thunder attached to these wounds was absorbed by Lin Su's body, the wounds are also recovering at a speed visible to the naked eye. After Lin Su was knocked to the ground just now, the light beam emitted by the Thunder and Lightning Dragon did not weaken. Seeing that the small 5-element sword formation could not bear it and collapsed, once he was hit by this light beam, even with Lin Su's dragon the super recovery ability of the body and the immortal Lotus Heart Seal may also be difficult to resist. At the moment of life and death, Lin Su suddenly remembered the stone puppet in the spirit field space, and immediately put it out in front of him without hesitation. At the same time, his body shrank and turned back into a human form, and the stone puppet remained as usual. To Lin Su's disappointment, he withstood the bombardment of the light beam without any trace of the aftermath spreading to Lin Su until it dissipated. Ang! In the sky, the giant Thunder and Lightning Dragon glanced reluctantly at Lin Su in the pit, raised his head to the sky and let out a dragon roar. His figure began to slowly fade, and seemed to be dissipating. The blow just now concentrated most of the energy of the Thunder and Lightning Dragon, but it still couldn't do anything to catch Lin Su. Tiandao also knew that nothing could be done and could only dissipate. "Mom, hit me when you say it, and leave when you say it, it's not that easy." Lin Su naturally would not let the Thunder and Lightning Dragon dissipate like this. Although most of its energy had been consumed in the previous blow, the remaining half of its power could not be wasted. With a flash of body, Lin Su transformed into the body of a dragon and soared into the sky, flying directly to the side of the Thunder Dragon. The huge dragon's mouth opened and he sucked hard, and a huge suction force gushes out from its mouth, which had already begun to dissipate. The giant Thunder and Lightning Dragon turned into the pure power of thunder and lightning without any resistance and was sucked into his mouth. As soon as the power of the Tribulation Thunder entered Lin Su's body, Lin Su's aura began to rise upwards, and it only began to slow down when it reached the peak of the 6th level monster, but in the end it still failed to break through to the 7th level monster. Although it has not reached the middle stage of forming the core, it is still pretty good. I don't know how powerful it is when a small 5-element sword formation is formed with a 5-element sword at the level of a spiritual weapon. I'm really looking forward to it. Although he failed to break through to the middle stage of pill formation, Lin Su was already very satisfied. After all, he had reached the peak of the early stage of pill formation as soon as he broke through. It is really shocking to say that with Lin Su's current strength, after the pill formation stage there are absolutely few opponents inside. Even if a master in the late stage of pill formation can overwhelm him with his magic weapon, if he wants to leave, I'm afraid no one can stop him. It's amazing. He actually swallowed the Thunder and Lightning Dragon that was transformed from the heavenly calamity. Ye Ping-er, who was running wildly, saw Lin Su rising into the sky and swallowing the Thunder Dragon. She was so shocked that she froze on the spot. She looked at Lin Su with indescribable pride. This was her Ye Ping-er. Ping-er's man is a strong man who dares to fight even heavenly calamities, and even dares to absorb heavenly calamities. Ang. Looking up to the sky and letting out an excited dragon roar, Lin Su turned around and flew towards Ye Ping-er. Under Ye Ping-er's puzzled eyes, he rolled it up and gently put it on his back, and flew towards the cave. "Husband, why are you back here again?" Before flying back to the cave at lightning speed, Ye Ping-er asked a question with some confusion, and then suddenly reacted, and her face suddenly blushed shyly again. Transforming into a human form, Lin Su didn't care that he was naked at the moment. He laughed and picked up Ye Ping-er and strode into the cave. "Husband, what do you want to do?" "Of course I'm going to continue what I didn't finish just now." Following a shy cry, bursts of moans that made people's blood rush and the man's heavy breathing rang out in the cave. Lin Su's cultivation has been completely stabilized after the baptism of the heavenly tribulation, but Ye Ping-er has just made a breakthrough. Therefore, the two did not leave immediately, but stayed in the cave for another 3 months. With the help of Lin Su, afterwards, Ye Ping-er has also completely stabilized her cultivation at the great perfection state in the late stage of foundation building. As long as she accumulates some more, she will be able to condense the golden elixir just around the corner. Ever since Lin Su broke through to the pill-forming stage and transformed into a dragon, the forbidden air domain on the 2nd floor of the Demon God Tower has completely lost its effect on him. I don't know whether it is because the forbidden air domain has restrictions on cultivation or because of the innate flying ability of the dragon family. But no matter what it was a good thing for Lin Su and Ye Ping-er. It could save them a lot of time on the road. Not long after leaving the cave, the two found the teleportation light leading to the 3rd floor of the Demon God Tower. Door, officially entering the 3rd floor. On the first day after entering the 3rd level, Lin Su and the two met Su Lianchen, a mid-level Dan formation monk from Xianxia Palace. Because Su Xianxia issued a killing order to Lin Su, this guy became murderous when they met. "Come up." Lin Su's cultivation level is slightly lower than that of Su Lianchen, but both the strength of his spiritual consciousness and his eyesight are much higher than this guy. As soon as he found out that he was a monk from Xianxia Temple, he immediately hid his aura. Haha, you really can't find anything after wearing iron shoes. It takes no effort to get here. Lin Su, the fifth Shura of Yama Palace, you didn't expect that you would fall into my hands, ha ha ha. Su Lianchen smiled arrogantly. Although he could not see Lin Su's true cultivation level, when Lin Su entered the secret realm of gods and demons, he only had the perfect cultivation level in the late stage of foundation establishment. In Su Lianchen's view, even if Lin Su was in, there are some adventures in the secret realm of gods and demons, and at most they are just some magic weapons and secret skills. The strength may be strengthened, but it is also extremely limited. After all, no one expected that Lin Su could break through to the pill formation stage without taking the dust falling pill, and he reached the peak of the early stage of pill formation as soon as he broke through, and was only one step away from the middle stage of pill formation. The small world on each floor of the Demon God Tower is extremely wide. Su Lianchen did not see the scene of Lin Su experiencing the 49 heavenly tribulations. To be more precise, he did not see any heavenly tribulations occur at all, so his understanding of Lin Su was still where it was 2 years ago. And the result of underestimating your opponent often means tragedy. Why, does your Xianxia Palace really want to form a deadly feud with our Yamaluo Palace? Lin Su looked at Su Lianchen with a gloomy expression, but the dragon essence in his body started to move quietly. No, no, boy, you are wrong. It's not that our Xianxia Palace is enmity with your Yama Palace, but that Spirit Beast Island is enmity with your Yama Palace. Su Lianchen sneered, his eyes full of teasing and pride. Lin Su, the fifth Shura of Yama Palace, coveted the beauty of Yeping-er, the daughter of Yewuji, the master of Spirit Beast Island, and humiliated her to death. I arrived here by then, Yeping-er was already fragrant. Xiao Yu died. I killed Lin Su out of righteous indignation. Do you think this story is quite convincing? If Yewuji heard the news of his daughter's death, would he rush to the Yama Palace to settle accounts with the Emperor of Yama? You want to put the blame on me, provoke a war between Spirit Beast Island and Yama Palace, and let Xianxia Palace reap the benefits. Lin Su's eyes narrowed. Su Lianchen's move was not cruel. It killed 3 birds with 1 stone. However, this guy's biggest mistake was to underestimate him too much. Boy, you're not too stupid. Don't worry, as a reward for giving me such a big gift, I will let you die a happy death. As for the beautiful Miss Ye beside you, I want you to take good care of her and let her accompany you in the peak of pleasure, ha ha ha. The more Su Lianchen talked, the more excited he became, and he couldn't help but look up to the sky and laugh wildly. Take me to cherish Ping-er. Lin Su's face darkened, and a cold light flashed in his eyes. Old man, since you have such thoughts, I will keep you even longer. Okay, kid, if I tell you this, you will be able to die in peace, so now, just die for me. After laughing for a while, Su Lianchen's face flashed with murderous intent, and he stretched out his hand to grab Lin Su. A huge energy palm stretched out from the void and grabbed Lin Su, trying to squeeze Lin Su alive. Die. Is this all you have? Chapter 2. It's not past midnight yet, and the promise of 2 chapters this day has finally not been broken. Hee. Dantian has a little field. Author, The Magic Orb Zoo. Chapter 137. Lin Su's cold voice sounded, and no matter how hard he exerted himself, the big hand of energy emitted by Su Lianchen suddenly shattered. At the same time, a strong force came from behind. Su Lianchen only felt a pain in his left abdomen, and a handful of 5 elements spirit the sword penetrated from the lower back and came out from the left side of the abdomen, piercing through him. At this time, Lin Su's figure slowly faded and disappeared. Searched Can on Google. After image. Su Lianchen was shocked. He didn't even see clearly when Lin Su ran behind him. How could this be possible? Old man Su, you seem to have overestimated yourself. Lin is standing here now, come and kill him. Lin Su stared indifferently at Su Lianchen, who staggered around and retreated. His tone was extremely calm, but it made people feel chilly in their hearts. Su Lianchen has a black streak, kill your sister, you don't bring such a naughty person. You even wounded me in a sneak attack and you still stood there and let me kill you. You can't be so shameless. Ignoring Su Lianchen's sad and angry eyes, Lin Su released the stone puppet with a wave of his hand, and surrounded Su Lianchen with himself. Since he had already taken action, he had to make sure everything was safe. Today I will never let Su Lianchen have any chance to leave this place. You just told a story, and now Lin will tell you another one. Su Lianchen, a monk in the middle stage of the Sutian Palace's alchemy formation, was obsessed with lust and attempted to molest Ye Ping-er, the daughter of Yewuji, the owner of the Spirit Beast Island. Fortunately, Lin Su was in time. He came to the rescue and killed Su Lianchen on the spot after a shocking battle. Lin thinks this story is much more touching than what you just told him, don't you think? Su Lianchen was about to cry. Lin Su was just entertaining him. He is seriously injured now. He is able to exert his strength to the best of his ability. He is also able to fight in a shocking battle against your sister. Do it. Su Lianchen's guess was right. Lin Su was indeed entertaining him, and at the same time paralyzing him. The so-called centipede insect was dead but not stiff. What's more, Su Lianchen was not dead yet, but was secretly attacked by Lin Su because he underestimated the enemy. Just hurt. The vitality of the masters in the middle stage of pill formation is extremely tenacious, and they are not easy to kill. If this old boy resists desperately, Lin Su will really have a headache. So after the blow, Lin Su did not attack immediately, but used words to stimulate Su Lianchen, giving the opponent a feeling that he would not take action immediately, and then just like now, he suddenly took action without warning. Together with the stone statue puppet attack from both sides, make sure to kill with one strike. He originally thought that Lin Su would have to humiliate him before taking action. Although Su Lianchen was half infuriated by Lin Su, he was still secretly happy in his heart. He was busy mobilizing the power of his true energy to recover from his injuries, and basically had no defense. So, obviously, this old boy is in tragedy again. A huge iron fist hit Su Lianchen hard from behind, and he was thrown forward like a cannonball. Blood spurted from his mouth, and in front of him, Lin Su had already sneered and offered a small sacrifice. 5 elements sword formation. You treacherous villain, I will fight with you. The power of the small 5 elements sword formation composed entirely of low-grade spiritual weapons was so great. In just a blink of an eye, Su Lianchen's right arm was twisted into pieces. The heartbreaking pain completely deformed his old face, and he could no longer see it. There was no trace of immortality at all, and his face was full of ferociousness. Want to fight hard? Do you think I will give you this chance? Once the attack was successful, Lin Su did not hesitate, and used the small 5 elements sword formation to strangle Su Lianchen with an indifferent expression. Although he was extremely confident in himself, he would not underestimate the world's heroes, let alone Su Lianchen. He is a mid-level pill-forming master of Sutian Palace, and he is definitely not a mediocre person. If he takes a breath and uses desperate moves, he may not be able to keep him. Su Lianchen was really on the verge of crying at the moment, his old face was red from holding back. Lin Su was so cunning, and he actually took action without any warning. Most of his true energy was used to recover from his injuries. There is not much power to fight back at all, and now the injuries are getting worse. It is difficult to resist Lin Su's attack, and there is no chance even if he tries his best. Xianxia finger. At this moment, Su Lianchen had unreservedly unleashed all his potential, resisting the attacks of the stone puppet and the small 5 elements sword formation, and a talisman appeared in his hand, which was the Xianxia cauldron talisman that Lin Su was very familiar with. If he is successfully activated, it will be impossible to kill him here. A cold light flashed in Lin Su's eyes, and he activated the Xiantian finger without hesitation. He felt that his dragon essence was suddenly reduced by 1/3. A huge golden finger fell from the sky, and the huge pressure was firmly locked on it. He hit Su Lianchen, and in an instant it was as if he had broken through the space. The defense of Su Lianchen was like nothing, and it was pointed at the top of his head. The world seemed to be frozen at this moment. Su Lianchen's Xianxian cauldron had just been thrown out before it could be activated, before it fell towards the ground. A look of horror flashed in his eyes, and then he lost all his energy. From the top of his head, at first, it suddenly collapsed into fine powder and spread with the wind. Even the storage ring on his hand was not spared. Shattered into pieces and turned into powder. Okay, so scary. Ye Ping-er, who was on the side, opened her eyes wide in horror, but she saw Lin Su suddenly staggered, and hurriedly rushed to support him, and asked nervously, "Husband, are you okay? There's something going on, it's serious." Lin Su's face was pale and he was sweating like rain. The Xiantian finger just now not only drained 1/3 of his dragon essence, but more importantly, it also drained 1/3 of his soul power. After forming the golden elixir, the soul has been transformed into a more stable soul. Suddenly 1/3 of the power of the soul was lost. Lin Su only felt a splitting headache. He did not faint immediately because he was determined. Without any time to say anything, Lin Su sat down cross-legged and used the immortal lotus heart technique. His spirit and body also had the immortal lotus heart seal, and his recovery ability was more than 100 times stronger than that of ordinary monks. After half a stick of incense, as the power of the soul recovered, Lin Su's face finally regained some color, and his body stopped shaking. Ye Ping-er, who had been guarding nervously at the side, breathed a sigh of relief. "Husband, how are you, is it okay?" Seeing Lin Su open his eyes, Ye Ping-er asked hurriedly. "I'm fine, Ping-er, don't worry, it's just that I've exhausted too much energy." Lin Su comforted Ye Ping-er, but he felt scared in his heart. He really didn't expect that as the golden elixir was formed and the soul was condensed, this Xiantian finger would have such a big change. The power was naturally increased by more than 10 times. The overwhelming pressure on the huge golden finger falling from the sky, and the terrifying destructive power that turned the virtual refining dust into powder were something Lin Su had never thought of. But correspondingly, the consumption when activated has also increased several times, a full third of the dragon yuan. This is not the true essence of the immortal cultivator, but the dragon essence that is much more condensed. What's more, there is still 1/3 of the soul's power, which is what really gives Lin Su a headache. The power of the soul is different from Long Yuan. Even if Long Yuan is exhausted, he can still practice and recover. Once the soul's power is consuming too much will definitely cause irreversible damage to the body. Therefore, it does not mean that Lin Su can activate Xiantian finger 3 times in a row by consuming 1/3 of his soul power at a time. In fact, with Lin Su's current situation, activating once is already the limit. If he forcefully activates 2 this time, I am afraid that he will soon fall into a coma until the immortal lotus heart seal in his soul spontaneously restores the power of his soul. As for launching it 3 times in succession, Lin Su's mouth twitched, he was definitely looking for death. Even though he had the incredible recovery ability of the immortal lotus heart seal, Lin Su didn't want to try it. "I originally thought that after forming the golden elixir, I could break the restrictions on the use of Xiantian finger, but I didn't expect that the limit would be even greater." However, the power was indeed terrifying. Lin Su even had a feeling that this move Xiantian finger would be too powerful. Even the masters in the early stage of nascent soul have to pay a big price if they want to proceed. This is a real magical skill. But this is fine. Although the cost of using Xiantian finger is staggering, its power is also quite astonishing. Although it cannot be used frequently, as a trump card, it should play an unexpected and huge role at some point. By the way, after forming the golden elixir, Lin Su can finally use Xiantian blood escape among the Xiantian 9 styles. He consumes his own essence and blood to transform himself into blood light, which can travel thousands of miles in an instant and ignore any restrictive effects. World, although it is not an attack type secret method, its role is much more important than the attack type secret method. It may be an exaggeration to travel thousands of miles in an instant, but its speed is definitely extremely fast, far beyond Lin Su's imagination. What's more important is that it ignores any restrictive barriers, which is incredible. Think about it, those places called Jedi, those places with heaven-defying treasures, are not protected by powerful forbidden wards. If these forbidden wards can be regarded as nothing, then Lin Su will be as if he is in a deserted place. Territory. Of course, the more heaven-defying the secret method, the greater the price you pay when you cast it. Just like Xiantian finger, you will definitely have to pay a greater price when using Xiantian blood escape. Lin Su knew that he had to burn his own essence and blood, but it's unclear how much blood essence and blood will be burned, but I'm afraid it's a lot. If I had been able to use Xiantian blood escape when I was surrounded and killed, how could I have ended up exploding my Taoist base? This Xiantian blood escape is more mysterious than Xiantian finger. It doesn't matter if it is called a divine skill. Go ahead. Just the first 2 moves have such a heaven-defying effect, then wouldn't the last 7 moves of Xiantian 9 moves be even more magical? A fiery color flashed in Lin Su's eyes, and he was even more looking forward to the next 7 moves of Xiantian 9 moves, but he also knew that it would not be easy to master the remaining 7 moves, and his cultivation level would not be up to it. At the corresponding level, he couldn't perform it at all, and he couldn't even know what the remaining 7 postures were. It's over here. I must practice hard to improve my cultivation and reach the nascent soul stage as soon as possible. Only in this way can I return to the world of immortal cultivation and avenge my previous shame. Dantian has a little field. Author, The Magic Orb Zoo. Chapter 138. The Dragon Clan is the royal clan among the monsters. Even though Lin Su is only a dragon now, he is also a branch of the Dragon Clan and naturally has the ability to communicate with all kinds of beasts. From the beasts on the 3rd floor of the Demon God Tower, Lin Su learned some very useful information about the 3rd floor of the Demon God Tower. The 3rd floor of the Demon God Tower is different from the first 2 floors. All the opportunities and treasures are concentrated on the Meteorite God Peak in the center of the Great Plain. Moreover, before Lin Su and Ye Ping'er entered here, many people and monsters had already entered the 3rd floor of the Demon God Tower and were now rushing to the Meteorite God Peak. However, according to the information Lin Su received, in addition to him and Ye Ping'er, there are only 8 cultivators who have entered the 3rd floor of the Demon God Tower so far, which means that only 10 people from the 3 major forces in the Chaos Star Sea have successfully reached the 3rd floor of the Demon God Tower, accounting for only 1/3 of the total number of people who have entered. Lin Su and the others did not know whether the Bald Man and Leng Lingyu had entered the 4th floor of the Demon God Tower. If they had entered, they would definitely go to the Meteorite God Peak, and maybe they could meet them again at the Meteorite God Peak. In order to avoid unnecessary trouble, Lin Su did not restore his dragon body to fly, and he could not fly at all in the 3rd floor of the Demon God Tower in human form, so he could only rely on his legs with Ye Ping'er to rush to the Meteorite God Peak. Fortunately, although the two could not fly, they were traveling very fast. In just a few days, they crossed the Hongduan Mountains and entered the Great Plains. They were not far from the Meteorite God Peak in the center. Hey, there seems to be a fighting sound ahead, let's go and have a look. On this day, the two had seen the towering mountain in the sky from a distance. I think it should be the Meteorite God Peak. Just as they were about to rush over, Lin Su suddenly noticed a strong spiritual fluctuation coming from a few miles to the left front, as if someone was fighting. There were 3 people fighting. One had long blood-colored hair, a cold face, and a cold aura all over his body. The other was surrounded by a black aura all over his body. He was short and his face was hidden in the black aura, which looked quite strange. Both of them were in the late stage of foundation building. The person fighting with them was an old acquaintance of Lin Su, Xianxia, an early-stage Jindan cultivator from Xiushan Palace who was beaten away by Lin Su on the first floor of the Demon God Tower. It's them. How did they fight? Lin Su had also met the 2 late-stage of foundation building cultivators. The one with long blood-colored hair was the 4th Shura blood knife of Yama Palace, and the one surrounded by black aura was the 2nd Shura Chen Tian. However, the 2 were not in a good condition at the moment. Xuedao was half kneeling on the ground, covered in blood. The blood-colored longsword in his hand was covered with cracks. The black mist on Chen Tian's body was also very thin, and even his face was almost unable to be covered. He stood beside Xuedao and gasped heavily. Su Chensu's condition was not very good either. There was a deep knife wound on his back, and the skin and flesh were turned outward. Killing auras were emanating from it. There seemed to be some small black and green insect corpses constantly being forced out of the wound and falling to the ground. Xuedao, Chen Tian, I have to admit that you 2 little bastards are really powerful. You can actually let me suffer such a trauma. After taking a breath, Su Chensu's eyes were full of coldness and murderous intent, but that's it? No matter how talented you are, the gap between the foundation building stage and the elixir forming stage is insurmountable. I want you to know that daring to attack me is the most wrong thing you have done in your life. With his hands in seals, Su Chensu pointed at Xuedao and the 2 people. A seal flew out from between his hands and suddenly enlarged, turning into a virtual image of Su Tianding the size of a hill, pressing down on the 2 people with the force of Mount Tai. The speed of the virtual image of Su Tianding's descent was not fast, but Xuedao and Chen Tian were already at the end of their strength at this moment, not to mention that their auras had long been locked, and there was no way to avoid it. My blood blade actually died in the hands of a scum like you, how unfair it is. The wounds all over Blood Blade's body continued to crack under the strong air pressure of Su Tianding. The blood-colored longsword in his hand unwillingly blasted towards the virtual image of Su Tianding. The huge blood-red blade light emitted from the blood-colored longsword blasted on the virtual image of Su Tianding, and then it burst apart. Then the blood-colored longsword also broke into pieces. The whole person could no longer bear the huge pressure and collapsed to the ground. The black air all over Chen Tian's body condensed into a strange black giant python with a huge horn. A roar that was completely different from that of a python sounded. The black giant python crashed into the virtual image of Su Tianding, and its body suddenly broke into pieces and turned into black air again, slowly fading and disappearing. Puff. The black giant python broke into pieces, and the black air on Chen Tian's body collapsed. He opened his mouth and sprayed a puff of blood mist, then fell to the ground. I've said it before, you little mice hiding in the dark are only a little bit threatening in the dark. How can you be my opponent in a head-on battle? You are simply overestimating yourself. Being attacked by the blood-colored sword light and the black giant python, Su Chensu's face also showed an abnormal flush. Even though he was a cultivator in the early stage of Jindan, he couldn't completely ignore the desperate attack of Xuedao and Chen Tian. After all, the 2 were one of the top 5 Shuras in Xiushan Palace, and their combat power far exceeded that of ordinary late-stage foundation building cultivators. What's more, Su Chensu had been injured. However, his condition was much better than that of Xuedao and Chen Tian. Xuedao and Chen Tian had exhausted their last bit of strength and could only collapse on the ground unwillingly, and were about to be crushed into meat paste by the virtual image of Xiushan Ding. 5 Great Shura? Damn. I will kill you 2 first today. But don't worry, I will send the other 3 Shura to accompany you soon, especially that little bastard Lin Su. Su Qianxia smiled wildly and pressed down with both hands. The Xianxia cauldron was stunned, and the speed of its descent suddenly increased several times. It was about to hit Suidao and Chen Tian, crushing them into a pulp. Boom! A figure suddenly appeared beside the two of them. A palm gently held the top of the virtual image of the Xianxia cauldron, and the huge pressure disappeared without a trace in an instant. I just heard that you want to destroy all the 5 Shura, especially me, right? It was Lin Su who was holding the virtual image of the Xianxia cauldron, and he looked at Su Qianxia indifferently. Is it you? Lin Su, how dare you appear in front of me? Su Qianxia's wild laughter stopped abruptly, his arrogant expression froze on his face, and then he changed into a ferocious look. Why don't I dare to appear in front of you? It seems that you were the one who was beaten and fled, right? A sneer appeared at the corner of Lin Su's mouth. Boy, if you didn't have that weird stone statue to help you, how could I lose to you? Now you dare to appear alone in front of me, and you dare to catch my void sky seal. You simply don't know how to live or die. Su Qianxia looked at Lin Su with eyes full of resentment. The seals in his hands changed for a while and then he pressed down suddenly. The imagined situation of Lin Su being crushed to pieces did not appear. The virtual image of the Xianxia cauldron was trembling, but it could not be pressed down at all. Lin Su did not look like he was struggling at all. Instead, he looked at the Xianxia cauldron with a joking look on his face. Qianxia, is this what you rely on? Xianxia seal? It doesn't look like much. Lin Su chuckled lightly and flicked the palm holding the Xianxia cauldron's virtual image. The seemingly majestic and indestructible Xianxia cauldron's virtual image shattered like glass and disappeared like a bubble being popped. No, it's impossible. How could you possibly break my void sky seal? Su Qianxia's eyes widened in disbelief. That was the Su Tian seal. It is one of the most powerful spells in the Xianxia palace. Lin Su is just a boy who has reached the Dzogchen realm in the late stage of foundation building. How could he? Wait, the aura released by Lin Su just now when he broke his spell. You've made a breakthrough. Have you reached the pill formation stage? Su Qianxia took a breath of cold air. Although he didn't want to believe it, the aura that Lin Su burst out at that moment was indeed the aura of the pill formation stage. In less than 2 years, the opponent actually broke through. I have good eyesight. I have indeed made a breakthrough. The peak of the early stage of pill formation is a little higher than your cultivation level. Do you still think you can defeat me now? Su Qianxia's mouth twitched. After hearing Lin Su's personal admission, he no longer had the slightest desire to fight. Not to mention that he is injured now and his combat power is no longer at its peak. Even if he is at his peak, he is probably no match for Lin Su. Just look at Suidao and Chen Tian and you will know that those who can win the title of Shura are all Yamas. The most talented person in the palace, his combat power far exceeds his cultivation level, not to mention that Lin Su's current cultivation level is higher than him, and has reached the peak of the early stage of pill formation. Suddenly, Su Qianxia turned his head and ran towards the direction of the Meteor God Peak. There was no way to fly in the 3rd floor of the Demon God Tower. Even if he was a monk at the stage of forming pills, he could only rely on his legs to escape. Want to leave? Can you leave? Lin Su sneered, but heard an explosion, and Su Qianxia flew back and fell heavily at Lin Su's feet. The stone puppet walked over in stride, stretched out his hand and picked it up like a chicken. He grabbed it in his hand and lifted it up. Lin Su, if you dare to touch a hair on my head, you will be our mortal enemy of Xianxia Palace, and there will be no place for you in the Chaos Star Sea. Lin Su had already arranged for the stone puppet to guard the side. With the speed and strength of the stone puppet, Su Qianxia, who was so devastated, had no way to escape. Now that he was caught in the hand of the stone puppet, he could not struggle away. He glared at Lin Su with angry eyes and threatened. There is no place for me in the chaotic star sea. Lin Su looked at Su Jinsu with disdain. I'm afraid your Xianxia palace doesn't have this ability yet. The three major forces of chaos Xingai are standing at the same level. If your Xianxia palace wants to cover the sky with one hand, then we still have to see if our Yamaluo palace agrees. Reaching out and patting Su Jinsu's face gently, Lin Su's eyes flashed with murderous intent. But, you can't see it? Send him on his way. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. Dantian has a little field. Author, The Magic Orb Zoo. Chapter 139. The stone puppet's eyes flashed red, and he raised his huge fist and was about to hit Su Jinsu's head. If it was hit hard, Su Jinsu's current state would definitely burst like a rotten watermelon. Too dead to die. Diamond suit, diamond suit, diamond suit. Wait a minute, if you kill me, you will never see Tianyuan and Len Lingyu again. Su Jinsu looked at the huge fist struck by the stone puppet, and hissed with a pale face. Slow. Lin Su frowned and uttered a word. The stone puppet's fist almost touched Su Jinsu's forehead and stopped. The strong wind as sharp as a knife cut two blood marks on Su Jinsu's face. What did you just say? Do you know the whereabouts of brother Tian and Yuer? Lin Su turned around and looked at Su Jinsu coldly, his eyes flashing coldly. Su Jinsu knew that if he said something wrong, he would be killed on the spot. I do know that these two people are trapped in the same place now. Only I know. If you kill me, neither of them will survive. Su Jinsu swallowed. He could only bet in Lin Su's heart that the safety of the bald man and Len Lingyu was more important than killing him. Tell me where they are. I can tell you, but you have to swear to let me go. Are you qualified to negotiate terms with me? Lin Su looked at Su Jinsu indifferently. To tell you the truth, I can consider leaving a trace of your true spirit to reincarnate, otherwise I will directly search your soul. You should know the consequences. Su Jinsu's face turned pale. It seemed that Lin Su would not let him go no matter what today. You are so cruel. I'll count to 3. If you don't want to say it, you don't have to say it anymore. 3, 2, 1. I said. Su Jinsu's face turned completely gloomy. Since he was bound to die, why would he let his death be so painful? Su Jinsu also knows about the soul-searching technique. It is an extremely vicious forbidden technique. It is not only found in the world of immortals, but also in the chaotic star sea. The best result of a monk who is soul-searching is that his soul will be broken and become a fool. People, more often than not, will never be reincarnated, and they will not even have the chance to be reincarnated. This kind of spell is too vicious and harmful to the heaven and earth, so under normal circumstances monks will not use it to avoid adding karma to themselves and making it more difficult to overcome the heavenly tribulation. But this is not absolute. As long as it is not commonly used, a little increase in karma is not unbearable for the monks. Su Jinsu looked at Lin Su's indifferent eyes and did not dare to have any luck in his heart. He could feel Lin Su was definitely not joking with him. If he really didn't say anything, Lin Su would really search his soul. They are in a natural barrier thousands of miles southeast of here. Originally, senior brother Xianxia and I had captured them. Who knew that these two people were able to break free and hide in a stone forest? Among them, a formation has been set up to block it, and now senior brother Xianxia is guarding it. As long as the formation is broken, they will be dead, ha ha ha. Su Jinsu laughed maniacally. Thousands of miles to the southeast? Damn it! Lin Su's face darkened, and with a thought in his mind, the hand of the stone puppet held Su Jinsu's neck with sudden force, and broke his neck with a snap. Putting away the stone puppet, Lin Su's figure turned into the dragon's body in a flash. Ye Ping'er also jumped on Lin Su's head with the same intention, hugged Lin Su's dragon horns tightly, and soared into the sky towards the southeast. Fly away. Listening to what Su Xianxia said, the bald man and Leng Lingyu should be trapped thousands of miles southeast by Su Zhengqiao, and their lives may be in danger at any time. Lin Su was anxious. If he ran there with his legs, he didn't know where he was going. At any time, now he didn't care whether his identity would be exposed, he transformed into a dragon and flew over. Of course, before turning into his own body, Lin Su did not forget to use his momentum to suppress the seriously injured Suidao and Chen Tian, knocking them unconscious. He did not want these two people to know that he was a monster now. Identity. But what Lin Su didn't know was that Chen Tian, who should have been stunned by his momentum, quietly opened his eyes and looked at his figure soaring into the sky, with a smile on his lips. The dragon transformed in the early stage of pill formation? But his spirit is completely different from that of the monster. Is it to seize the body? Interesting. Getting up from the ground, Chen Tian reached out and made a move. Hundreds of dark green insects emerged from the wounds on the back of Su Xianxia's body and flew towards him. A little green light emerged from the insects and penetrated into them. After entering his body, the wounds all over his body began to heal and the scars fell off in an instant, and the wounds on the meridians in his body were also rapidly recovering. The emaciated corpse on the ground gradually shriveled up as dark green insects emerged, and soon turned into a giant mummy. A breeze blew by, and turned into powder. As Su Xianxia turned into dust and disappeared, Chen Tian's injuries were all recovered, and he even had a faint aura that was different from before, as if there was a sign of a breakthrough. Lin Su, an interesting guy. Although I don't want to admit it, I do owe him a favor. If I have a chance, I can pay him back. Turning his head to look at Suidao, who was still unconscious, Chen Tian showed a look of disgust in his eyes. After thinking about it, a small dark green insect flew out of his fingertips and flew to Suidao's forehead. A little green the light blended in towards the center of his eyebrows. As the green light blended in, Suidao's closed eyes moved, and there were faint signs of waking up. A sneer appeared at the corner of Chen Tian's mouth, and with a movement of his body, black energy emerged from his body and turned into a black cloud, flying towards the meteor god peak. To the southeast, thousands of miles away, where is it? The flying speed of the dragon's body was astonishing. In just half a day, Lin Su arrived thousands of miles away to the southeast as Su Xianxia said. This was the edge of the Great Plains, with a jungle that could not be seen at a glance. Lin Su had already after searching for several miles, there was no trace of the bald man and Leng Lingyu. Damn it! If I had known earlier, I should have searched for the soul of that guy Su Xianxia, so I wouldn't have been busy here. Lin Su's eyes were full of anxiety. If something happened to the bald man and Leng Lingyu because he wasted too much time searching, then he would really regret it. Husband, don't worry. Sister Yu and brother Tianyuan are so blessed that they don't look like people who died young. Ping'er believes they will be fine. Ye Ping'er comforted Lin Su softly, but the anxiety in her eyes was not much less than that of Lin Su. She knew very well the status of Leng Lingyu and Lin Su in Lin Su's heart. If something really happened to the two of them, it would be very difficult. It's hard to guarantee whether Lin Su will go crazy. Lin Su nodded slightly, but the anxiety in his heart did not lessen much. He flew a little faster and started searching like a carpet over the jungle. Suddenly, Lin Su saw what seemed to be a forest of strange boulders in the jungle in the distance. From a distance, it seemed that strands of spiritual energy from heaven and earth were converging towards it, and he couldn't help but feel shocked. Is this the stone forest? Without any time to think, Lin Su flew towards the stone forest. Sure enough, he saw a translucent barrier emitting a faint red light covering a 3-foot square area in the stone forest. The bald man and Leng Lingyu were facing each other. Sitting cross-legged among them, holding the spell to maintain the barrier, there was a person outside the barrier who was attacking the barrier with a black sword array. It was Xianxia. The faces of the bald man and Len Lingyu were both pale, and the corners of their mouths were stained with blood. With Xianxia's attacks, strands of blood continued to flow out. The color of the barrier became lighter and lighter. With the impact of the sword array, it was shaking constantly, and it was about to lose its support. Haha, two little babies, stop struggling. Remove the barrier quickly. I might be able to leave you with a whole body. Otherwise, once the barrier is broken, you will die without a burial place. Su Zhengqiao laughed loudly, with a proud look on his face. He had never thought that Len Lingyu's one-time barrier had such strong protective capabilities. It could even block his attacks. So far, they have been attacking for almost a day, but fortunately, both the barrier and Len Lingyu in the barrier are at the end of their strength. Once the barrier is broken, they may not even have the strength to escape. Wishful thinking. Len Lingyu scolded angrily, staring at Su Zhengqiao with murderous eyes. If eyes could kill, Su Zhengqiao would have been dead for countless times. Shameless person, as a mid-stage pill-forming master, he actually took action. Attack us. The people in Xiushan Palace are all despicable people. Humph. Without seeing the coffin and crying, do you think you can run away today? When I break this barrier, you will be unable to survive or die. Su Zhengqiao's face darkened, and then he revealed a hint of lewdness. Especially you, little beauty, I think you are still a virgin, your energy is restrained, you can just pick up the yin and replenish the yang, so that I can take my Xiushan Wuji Kung Fu to a higher level. Lu. Don't worry, before you die, I will let you taste the bliss of the world, Jija. Brood. Len Lingyu glared angrily, and the bald man roared loudly, damn old man, if grandpa doesn't die today, he will definitely repay you 100 times. Really? It's a pity that you are dead today. Even if the magic soldiers descend from the sky, they can't save you. Let me defeat you. Su Zhengqiao's technique changed, and the black light from the black sword array became even brighter, crashing down on the barrier. Kaka. There was a sharp sound like broken glass, and the barrier was finally broken. The bald man and Len Lingyu spurted out a mouthful of blood and collapsed on the ground. Haha, now I see how stubborn you guys are. Boy, you should die for me first. Su Zhengqiao laughed wildly, and the black knife array hit the bald man. If he was hit, the bald man would definitely be strangled to pieces in his current state. Be bold. A loud shout came from the air, and Lin Su's huge dragon body fell from the sky, blocking the two of them first, and swung the dragon's tail to scatter the sword array. Dantian has a little field. Author, The Magic Orb Zoo. Chapter 140. Is it you? Su Zhengqiao was shocked, and when he saw clearly, his face suddenly turned red and white. He had just said that even if the magic weapon descended from the sky, it would not be able to save Len Lingyu and the two of them, but in the end, Lin Su actually fell from the sky. Although Lin Su turned a snake into a dragon and his cultivation greatly increased, Su Zhengqiao could still identify the aura on his body. Isn't this the spiritual-eyed snow python that robbed the magical power fruit? Well, now it has turned into a dragon. Look at this aura, it is a level 6 monster. The magical fruit must be the magical fruit. Otherwise, how could there be such great progress in such a short period of time? Putting Yeping down, Lin Su transformed into a human form and put on his clothes at an extremely fast speed. The monster in the transformation stage. Su Zhengqiao's pupils shrank. Brother Lin. Brother Su. The bald man and Len Lingyu's eyes widened in surprise. Brother Tian, I'm sorry I'm late. Don't worry, as long as I'm here, no one can touch you. Lin Su took out a bottle of elixir and handed it to Yeping. This was a healing elixir he refined himself. It was much stronger than the healing elixir exchanged in the Yama Palace. Ye Ping'er understood and fed the healing elixir to her. To Len Lingyu and the bald man, as for Lin Su himself, he stared at Su Zhengqiao coldly, his chi machine locking him firmly. Boy, don't speak too loudly, and don't be afraid of Feng De flashing your tongue. Even the King of Heaven can't save the person I want to kill. Su Zhengqiao's eyes revealed a cold light and he said coldly, I haven't settled the matter with you about the magical power fruit yet, but you brought it to your door yourself. Very good, now that you are here, don't leave. I will kill you first today. Then have some fun with these two beauties. Lin Su's face turned completely gloomy, scarlet murderous aura emerged from his body without concealment, and a huge bloody dragon condensed on his back. A voice as cold as the nine hells rang out from his mouth. Old guy, Lin will kill you today. The dragon has reverse scales and will be killed if touched. Lin Su's enemy was his lover and friend. If Su Zhengqiao knew that the words he originally used to attack Lin Su actually aroused Lin Su's greatest murderous intention, he would probably beat his chest in regret. How dare you, boy? You are only at the early stage of pill formation, how dare you do this? Su Zhengqiao suddenly felt the hairs all over his body, and a creepy feeling arose. He was shocked and at the same time, he couldn't help but get angry. He yelled, but before he could say anything, a flying weapon with 5 flashing lights suddenly appeared. The sword array formed by the swords was already shooting towards him, blocking his words in mid-sentence. That's too much. It's simply too much. How can anyone be like this, hitting whenever he wants and not letting anyone finish his words? After all, you, Lin Su, are already a master at the peak of the early stage of pill formation. Why are you so unruly? Su Zhengqiao's old face turned red from holding back, but at this moment Lin Su's small 5-element sword formation had already attacked, and he could only urge the black sword formation to meet it and block it first. Dang dang dang. Countless sounds of gold and iron clashing sounded. A sword formation and a knife formation collided with each other, and then a fierce battle began, trying to crush the opponent to pieces. Humph. My soul-slaying sword formation is a low-grade spiritual weapon, how can it be matched by your small sword formation? Seeing the black sword formation blocking the small 5-elements sword formation, a trace of disdain flashed across Su Zhengqiao's face. His fighting soul sword formation was split from a low-grade soul-killing sword, and it was more powerful than an ordinary low-grade sword formation. The spiritual weapon must be a bit stronger. In his opinion, Lin Su, a transformed monster who has just broken through to the early stage of pill formation, what powerful magic weapon can he have? Kaka. However, as soon as the mocking words were spoken, there was a sound of a weapon breaking. Su Zhengqiao's expression suddenly changed, and a mouthful of hot blood spurted out. No, how is that possible? This is a low-grade spiritual weapon. What made the sound of breaking was the black flying knives that formed the sword array. As one flying knife broke, more and more flying knives also shattered under the strangulation of the small 5-elements sword array, and then the entire battle the soul knife formation collapsed suddenly, leaving only one soul-cutting knife that flew backwards with a cry and shot back into Su Zhengqiao's Dantian. The spiritual weapon has a spirit. At this moment, the soul-cutting sword has been severely damaged. There are cracks on the blade. It even spontaneously hid in Su Zhengqiao's body and never came out again. I forgot to tell you, every sword in my little 5-elements sword formation is a low-grade spiritual weapon. I'm sorry. Lin Su looked at Su Zhengqiao with a smile and said a word in a leisurely manner. Sorry about your sister. Su Zhengqiao felt bad all over. What is a slap in the face? This is a slap in the face, and it is a slap in the face naked. As soon as he finished boasting, the proud fighting soul sword formation was defeated by the opponent, and the soul-cutting sword was also severely damaged. Then Lin Su told himself that his sword formation was all composed of low-grade spiritual weapons. Damn it! If you had told me earlier, the devil would have tried to spell magic with you. My soul-slaying sword, how many heavenly materials and earthly treasures will it take to recover from this severe injury? Su Zhengqiao felt that his heart was bleeding. Looking at Lin Su's smiling face, he became furious. He jumped on his feet and shouted, "Lin Su, don't be proud. Don't think you have a low-grade spiritual weapon. I've already killed you in the sword formation. I must kill you to ashes today in order to eliminate the hatred in my heart." Turning over his hand, Su Zhengqiao took out two talismans, one of which was the Xianxia cauldron talisman that Lin Su was very familiar with, and the other one was purple-black in color. Just looking at it made people feel goosebumps. Upright feeling. Not good. Lin Su didn't have time to think carefully, so he directly summoned the stone puppet and asked it to stand in front of Ye Ping'er and the other three. "You all go to hell for me." Soul Fire Soul Extinguishing Talisman. Su Zhengqiao laughed wildly and threw the two talismans in his hands into the air at the same time. Among them, the Xianxia cauldron talisman turned into a virtual image of the Xianxia cauldron and fell on top of his head. The light curtain dropped to protect his whole body, and the other the black talisman exploded, and a dark circular array appeared in mid-air. This magic circle has a radius of half a mile, with many mysterious lines appearing on it, and an extremely evil aura spreads from the magic circle. Lin Su's face changed drastically. He felt that his chi was locked by the magic circle in the sky. He glanced at Ye Ping'er and the other two people. They also had panic expressions on their faces, especially Leng Lingyu, who had been injured for a long time. And the bald man, his face was even more pale without a trace of blood. "Boy, once the soul fire extinguishing talisman is released, it will not distinguish between ourselves and the enemy. Unless the energy of the talisman is exhausted, it will never stop. You are dead. Ha ha ha." Su Zhensu, who was protected by the virtual image of the Xianxia cauldron, laughed wildly. Whoa! A gust of dark wind blew, and countless black rockets shot down from the magic circle in the sky. Lin Su could only recall the small five-element sword array and put it above his head to resist, and at the same time let the stone puppet spread its arms and bow. She protected Ye Ping'er and the three of them under her body. The chi machines of Lin Su and others have been locked by the formation formed by the soul fire extinguishing talisman. They cannot escape at all and can only resist the attacks of these black rockets. Even Su Zhengqiao is no exception and is also under the blow of the black rockets. It's just that as soon as those black rockets hit the virtual image of Xianxia cauldron and its hanging light curtain, they burst open and disappeared like phantoms, without causing any harm to Su Zhengqiao at all. Lin Su glanced at Su Zhengqiao, who was full of pride under the Xianxia cauldron talisman, with an ugly face. No wonder this old guy can use the Xianxia cauldron talisman. The Xianxia cauldron talisman of feelings is the nemesis of these black rockets. The black rockets shot at the stone puppet and the small five-elements sword formation did not explode with any powerful lethality, but Lin Su felt that his soul power seemed to be consumed by a strange force in a moment. His expression changed drastically. This black rocket turned out to be an attack on the power of the soul. The reason why only a trace of Yuan Shen's power was consumed was because part of the power was blocked by the small five-elements sword formation. However, this kind of attack specifically aimed at the power of Yuan Shen, even though it was composed of a low-grade spiritual weapon, the five-elements spirit sword, the sword formation cannot completely defend it. Only the stone puppet, which has no spirit or soul, will not be damaged by the black rocket, but it is Lin Su's puppet after all, and the black rocket shot at it will pass between the stone puppet and Lin Su. The connection consumes the power of his soul. Although Lin Su's soul power has only been consumed a little, who knows how long the formation formed by the soul fire extinguishing talisman will last. Just as Su Zhengqiao said that it will not disappear until the power of the talisman is gone, Lin Su is not sure. I can hold on until then. Even if he can survive it, he will probably have lost most of his soul power by then. How can he be Su Zhengqiao's opponent? Will he be slaughtered by the other party? No, we have to find a way. Boy, stop struggling. Except for the Void Sky Cauldron Talisman, there is no magic weapon that can stop the soul-killing arrow fired by the Soul Fire soul-destroying talisman. You are dead. Su Zhenqiao's mocking voice sounded, and Lin Su's eyes suddenly lit up, and he turned to the virtual image of Su Tianding above Su Zhenqiao's head. Yes. Void Sky Cauldron Talisman. This Xianxia Cauldron Talisman is the nemesis of Lao Shi's soul-destroying arrow. Lin Su could have two Xianxia Cauldron Talisman in his hand, one was snatched from Su Lianchen, and the other was from Su Jinsu's storage ring, and he remembered that the bald man had also obtained it. A Void Sky Cauldron Talisman. With a smile, Lin Su took out a Void Sky Cauldron Talisman and poured it into the power of Long Yuan before throwing it into the air. A virtual image of the Void Sky Cauldron floated above his head, lowering the light curtain to protect him. Brother Tian, activate your Xianxia Cauldron Talisman. These black rockets are ineffective against the Xianxia Cauldron Talisman. The bald man had no doubts about Lin Su's words. Isn't Su Zhengqiao the best example? Seeing the bald man offering the Xianxia Cauldron Talisman to protect the three of them, Lin Su laughed and put away the stone puppet. You actually have the Xianxia Cauldron Talisman from my Xianxia Palace. Damn it, what did you do to the other people in my Xianxia Palace? Su Zhenqiao's proud smile froze on his face. The Xianxia Cauldron Talisman is very precious. Each of the Xianxia temple monks who entered the secret realm of gods and demons this time only has one. Now Lin Su and Tian Yuan can take out the Xianxia Cauldron Talisman. Doesn't that mean? Thank you very much for the monthly ticket rewarded by the official wind boosting blood.